Let me know when you're
And you,
ready.
yeah, and you are on. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Miles, and this is X Raised, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. Today, we're diving into the complex yet incredibly crucial world of enterprise resource planning systems, or ERP. Now, imagine you're running a successful small or mid sized business. Everything's growing, the team is expanding, the orders are coming in, but behind the scenes, chaos. Financial reports take forever, processes are all over the place, and decision making feels like rolling a dice. Does that sound familiar? Well, fear not, because today's guest is here to untangle that web for us. So we invited for the second time around the founder and chief executive officer of Ybrant Solutions, who spent years perfecting ERP implementation strategies, advising businesses on financial planning and supply chain management to ensure their systems don't just work but thrive. So please welcome Rajesh Prayaga. Hello, Rajesh. Welcome to the show. It's been a while.
Yeah. Hi, Miles. Really, it has been a while and it's been amazing. And it's good to be back here again.
That's great. I'm all rev up to jump right into this conversation to really understand why SMBs need our ERP and to learn how to avoid the usual pitfalls through your system solutions that make it all work like clockwork. And there's been a lot of talk about ERP being a game changer for small to mid-sized businesses. So why is ERP so crucial for SMBs today, Rajesh, especially in industries where scaling is a priority?
So let me take a couple of examples even before I can start off. I'm sharing what Vibrant does. And in terms of that, if I can just move to the next slide, I can probably give you the response to your answer in by taking a couple of examples. So on the screen, you are able to see a few examples where I have a trading company with 150 employees and a retail family-owned business with 200 employees and a mid-sized pharmaceutical company, give or take about 250 to 300 employees is what they have. So in all of these, the organizations have disparate systems and disconnected systems, what they are trying to work with, and each one of them are trying to deal with their own core businesses. And when they do that, they are operating in silos. And when these disconnected systems and the the data that is spread everywhere, it becomes a challenge for them to operate. And this is where you would see how you are able to deliver the goods and how you are able to report the financials. It becomes a major challenge. And from this point of view is where I see that operations and the projects what they are managing to bring it all together and to be able to generate the kind of reporting, ERP is quite significant for them.
I see. So, Rajesh, it's also forecasting real numbers and it's basically taking all the complexity and makes it more manageable.
Absolutely, Miles. What ERP is about, having a centralized location where all your systems, all your data is going to be kept in one place. And when you
Yeah.
do this, like the way that we have here, decision making becomes quite easier, and you don't have to deal with a lot of outdated data, and then static information, if I may put it like, okay, yeah, am I able to see what is happening right at this in this week, today being Monday? How am I able to actually deal with what the actual number of stock, the actual stock, what I have in the warehouse, and
Yeah.
how are my manufacturing plants trying to do? Each one of these is where it becomes quite a challenge when you actually do not have numbers in your hands. And that too, when you actually have all of these in the paper based,
Yeah.
manually, when you're trying to do that, you're actually late by a few days. So you don't get the real time information of what is actually happening. So this becomes a challenge. And as a result of this, even if you want to grow faster, even if you are trying to go at a certain speed, it becomes a challenge. And also, if you're trying to report to any of the regulated, if you are in a regulated environment, and then you are trying to do something about it, the non-compliance could be something that it is at the back of your mind that, oh, something is not available, and I'm not able to report it at a particular time. So
Yeah.
in order for you to get everything in a centralized place rather than have a disjointed, disconnected systems, like the way how the research is going on, as Business Tech Weekly says, 70% of the SMBs are struggling with it. And
Mm-hmm.
this is where we have to go ahead and look at how we can bring everything to one place in one centralized location and be able to provide that financials and be able to provide what is really happening with in terms of my sales processes, my finance processes, my resourcing, and how I'm able to manage with the suppliers as well. So
Mm-hmm.
bring everything together and be able to make proper decisions. So that's where an ERP solution it helps fabulously, and it has helped 40,000 organizations, in SMB businesses in one particular application, what I have seen.
Yeah. Well, it's really great knowing how the finances and operations align before actually making the next big leap, Rajesh. Now, let's dig a little deeper into these pain points businesses face since you're showing me right now or the challenges that SMB faces. So, what are, I mean, manual processes, decision making delays, you name it, these are all time sucking of the obstacles. So, how does ERP addresses this specifically? How does ERP address this specifically in scenarios like this?
See, Miles, um, what I do as a let's say I'm a 10-member organization or a 20-member organization or a 50-member organization. So can I run all my data, my activities off a computer? Yes, I can, but
Mhm.
I have to log into multiple books, multiple
Yeah.
places,
Mhm.
maybe at the back of my envelope. And I can go ahead and do, on a tissue paper anywhere. I'm just joking. But then the thing is that it's not professional, it is
Yes,
not disciplined, it is not consistent approach.
it's not
So
ideal.
it basically is going to be the ineffective ways. It does not take you it does not improve the efficiencies and the productivities thereafter. The fundamental to it, in order for us to move from these manual archaic processes, is that you have to build systems, and
Mhm.
these systems need to run in a certain way. And the systems cannot run just like that. You need to have processes around it which need to be mapped, and these processes need to be tasked and then actioned, in a certain
Mhm.
way in order for you to generate that kind of data. A simple example, what I can give you is I want to get the latest technology, maybe a phone, a mobile phone, or a TV, or anything, let's say. So if I have to do that, I, as a customer, I'm looking for something, outside on the market. But you as a provider, or because you are the supplier, you have that particular television, which is the latest technology. You will not be able to get it out for me unless who I am, where is the customer that is located, and
Mhm.
what is the kind of product that I am looking for. All of this is possible these days, with the latest technologies, with the latest set of ERP solutions now, which have also the artificial intelligence. So
Yeah.
these things are possible, which can understand, which can predict, which can look at what have you bought the most recently, and therefore what you need the next.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, you are able to identify what the client would need, and then be able to propose to me that, okay, if you go with this particular TV is the right thing for you because you have chosen XYZ products before. So that actually appeals to me, and therefore there is every possibility that I can go ahead and buy it from you because I bought these things previously. So how is that possible without having a proper system in place? If you are trying to do everything manually, it becomes a
Yeah.
challenge because you don't have the historical data, you don't have the historical a set of information about me, what I do, and what my business does, what is our core business model. Every one of them you can go ahead and pull them in and then be able to understand and then be able to predict what is really required.
Hmm. So, since you mentioned real time information and AI working together, there will be no more waiting around for decisions because the data sitting somewhere in last week's spreadsheet, right?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
So that's where the thing is. Data needs to be reviewed on a regular basis, the reporting, and then the decision making. So,
Yeah.
even if you put excellent systems, top of the world systems, if nobody is going to take a look at it, it will be as stale as a few years ago. But then the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that with the advent of the kind of technologies what we are getting these days, you're able to meet all your objectives, the real time visibility into your business performance. How you do that by getting the kind of the historical trends and what
Mm-hmm.
is going to happen in the next 1 month. I'm able to open up and then see, okay, what are the key events that the client is going to do in the next few days, in the next few months. So therefore, if these are the kinds of, I'm able to receive it from the outside world, when I connect to that particular client, then say, okay, this is the kind of information I'm able to enhance the experience, enhance the customer experience. When I provide these, the real-time visibility, I'm able to track that, and I'm able to see what the customer service, what they are providing, and what we are currently providing, and then we are able to give them much more, satisfaction in the way how we are able
Yes.
to deliver the kind of repairs that may be, recalls that maybe, if at all there is one, there shouldn't be, but then if there is one, and the kind of the real-time information, if something is due to expire, therefore they need to reorder and things like that. So every one of them is possible with the kind of solutions, the kind of technologies that are available these days.
Hmm. Now, ERP systems aren't exactly rare these days, right? We've got big players like Microsoft Dynamics, SAP, big business one, and the list goes on. So, what unique value does Vibrant Solutions bring to the table for SMBs, and how do your solutions address their specific needs, whether it's handling finances, supply chain, or customer relationships?
Yeah, so I have given you an example of what here. What are those that are available in the market? As you can see, there are quite a few for the SMBs in particular. There are quite
Mm-hmm.
a few solutions, as you rightly pointed out. One of the key tools is Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, Oracle NetSuite, SAP Business One are pretty much available. But
Yeah.
then what I see the value in Microsoft Dynamics Business Central is that you have the possibility to do all the activities with all your processes in one central place. And on top of it, the kind of integration what it provides seamlessly with your the Outlook, your Teams, and Power BI, the kind of reporting, dashboards, everything what you need. So these are real friendly, and I can switch while I am sitting in my Business Central screens. I'm able to see everything what I need to do and everything. But if I want to send an email, I go into my email and then I look at my email, Outlook emails, and then I'm trying to say something. Okay, I need to send it to customer A. Let's say Miles is my customer, and I'm trying to send it to Miles. I don't know what the customer number is. I don't know what is the email ID and everything. I can
Mm-hmm.
I can seamlessly integrate. I can look at my add-in, and then I'll be able to populate my screen. And then as soon as I say Miles, it'll pull all the details regarding Miles, when was the last order that I have placed, every information, and I'll be able to see in real time what has exactly happened, including the details. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as the last conversations that I had with Copilot, I'll be able to see what has been the last conversation that has happened. And I'll be able to send out an email that, okay, this is what we have discussed the last time around, and this is what it is, and these are your details. This is what you have ordered for. This is what the best thing is, and you are
Yes.
able to communicate to them and then say, now you and me, we are in Teams right now and we are communicating, and you asked me for a certain thing. I don't have to switch 100 screens and then go to my ERP solution. But right
Uh-huh.
within here in Teams, I can log in and then I can say, okay, this is Dynamics 360, Dynamics Business Central, and then I can go for it. The reason
Mm-hmm.
why for the SMBs, I propose Microsoft Dynamics Business Central is that it helps you in, you don't have to go for high-end tools like Oracle, ERP, or SAP S/4HANA. It may be at a certain
Yeah.
level. As you grow bigger, then you might
Mm-hmm.
need. But at the level of where we are, we want to go ahead and look at it as an SMB. What is apt for me? I don't want to be sitting with um, the QuickBooks or the sort of an accounting solution. What is going to keep, but it needs to provide me much more than this. So from that point of view, it is a step up to from a QuickBooks, and then those kind of things, and then
Mm-hmm.
Sage Intact as well. Is also sitting in the same area as Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. But then for an organization which is about 150 to 200 or maybe 300 employees and up to 500, Microsoft Dynamics Business Central is best suited, and it helps you to look at what is the core minimum, what is the core business. And
Yeah.
even if you are looking for a particular solution which is a tailored one for you, there are a number of solutions that are out there available, and we as Vibrant Solutions help you implement that particular solution. And we have that expertise in advising, implementing, and adopting, helping you adopt the solutions as well.
Yeah, so the integration with Teams, AI, and apps is very huge. It's like
Mm.
ERP becoming more user friendly every day because who has time for complicated systems when you're trying to run a business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the kind of tools which you would need on a regular basis. So you see, the way that I look at is there are productivity tools, and there are
Mm-hmm.
sales related tools, and there
Mm-hmm.
are the core business. So, for example,
Yeah.
if you are into financial services, let's say, mortgage is your core product. Core business is mortgage. So you want to be able to sell mortgage solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So what the way it is whenever you're trying to work with these solutions, the front office solutions are something that you are actually dealing with them, which you already have, assuming that you have set them up, and then the back office is where the ERP that will come into, and this is where it would help you to set up the right kind of data, the right kind of solutions with regards to the contracts, mortgage contracts, what you are trying to do, and the suppliers who actually, or the investors, for example, in the mortgage, who are actually trying to bring in and then be able to, for you to be able to sell it properly. So
Mm-hmm.
for each one of these, there is a good integration between these front office solutions and the back office solutions. And in the back office is where the ERP solutions actually sit.
Yeah. And once a business decides to adopt ERP, implementation can get tricky, Rajesh. With this, what's the best approach for SMBs to roll this out without sending their entire office into chaos?
That's a very good point you touched upon, Miles. See, there are a few simple things. What I would suggest, never to rush in. The first and the
Mhm.
foremost thing is that you need to have a very strong sponsor. And that sponsor is the one who maybe the CFO or the CEO, themselves
Yeah.
can be that sponsor, and then or the finance area, because this is a finance-led solution. What we're going to do, somebody owning from the finance would certainly help. So if you want to get your balance sheet, your cash flows, your income statements, everything properly set up, you need to be able to first understand where is my problem? What is my problem? You know, and then you don't have to rush all in. You can start slow and build on it. And that is the beauty of what how the ERP solutions work.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point of view, you first need to do your assessment and then understand what is the key focus area, what are the list of areas. So from Vibrant Solutions, the way that we do is we perform an assessment like taking a 100 point health check in terms of where you are, what you do, and what are the processes, which is the low hanging fruit, and then the most risk prone area, what you have and how you are
Mm-hmm.
dealing with it right now. And then once that happens, we work with you to do that goal setting in terms of, okay, yeah, if you want to go achieve this in the next 3 months, are you going through a certain scenario where you are trying to acquire something or merge with some other organization, or you are trying to launch a new product or service,
Mm-hmm.
or if it is something hitting on the top line, or maybe you're trying to make a particular area more efficient, or what you have a more problematic area where you need to cut the costs and make some savings in there, whatever that may be. So we look at that particular area, and then we want to look at the most painful and the difficult or the challenging area, and then start with that particular goal, what you want to achieve. And if once you have that, as part of the advisory, we look at, okay, remediation plans. And then once we deliver the assessment reports, and that assessment report is what will give you, okay, which direction do we want to go and how quickly do we want to get this started on. And to this effect, what I have done is in our website, I have about 3 blogs which I have written. And these 3 blogs, one particularly says, what are the key steps that you need to take before first selection? And
Mm-hmm.
it talks also about the kind of resources that would be required: project manager, the functional people, which are line of business, whether it is for finance, sales, supply chain, or your procurement. And then the subject matter experts who actually deal with what is happening within the organization. So
Mm-hmm.
those kind of people, it clearly explains in that particular blog why is ERP significant for SMBs. It tells you what sort of information that you would need in terms of team readiness and the kind of infrastructure that you would need. So these days, infrastructure, you don't have to literally work with acquire yourself physically, but then everything is in the
Mm-hmm.
cloud. So even if it is in the cloud, what does it cost?
Yeah.
How long do I need to keep your contracts? You know, so we using our calculations. The What I have done is I have pulled together that particular metrics in terms of what you would need, when you would need it, and how long it would take. So, for example, it would take anywhere around 12 weeks for you to set up the system,
Mm-hmm.
and that particular 12 weeks, it is going to give you the core modules, the
Yeah.
core finance module, and it will give you the purchase organization is set up, the sales organization is set up on top of the finance organization. So if you are able to run few transactions, basic transactions, and if you are trying to run with a few more advanced steps, what you are trying to do, so this can take a bit more longer. And I would say not to rush everything in, even if you are able to do that quite quickly. It will be a good approach for you to do incremental.
Mm-hmm.
Incrementally, you can start to build it. Step one, core model, core
Yeah.
functions are addressed, and then you go with a second step where you have the integrations with quite a few other systems, maybe Shopify, maybe your Amazon, maybe the government systems. All
Mhm.
of these, you can start to go ahead and do each one of them in phase-wise manner. So by doing so, what happens is your team, your resources are not consumed, your finances are not consumed, and you
Yeah.
have the possibility to eat something and be able to enjoy it. It's not
Yeah.
like you're trying to consume a lot and then be struggle with it. There'll
Mhm.
be indigestion problems.
Yeah.
So it is always advised to start small, start build on it, consume it,
Mhm.
and then be able to go to the next step. And in this
Yeah.
case, what also we do is we prepare the architecture that is required in terms of what you need to do. You are currently here and how you want to move from A to B, and then for the next few years, how you want to move on. So what do you want to replace? Okay, the ERP systems, the procurement systems, the HR systems, the finance systems, whatever that you have. So we lay out the entire future roadmap in that sense, how you want to connect with each one of them. So that gives you a perfect view in terms of implementing the core ERP solution and expanding it.
Mhm.
So the way that I call it is land and expand.
Yeah. So efficient assessment, starting small and building from there seems less intimidating. I mean, everyone for sure would like to have a well-structured plan that doesn't throw away your whole office into a frenzy, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
See, the way another analogy, what I can refer to is it's like welcoming a new baby. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are implementing a solution like this, it's like welcoming a new baby. You don't want to bring the baby without having a proper planning.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
So you don't plan for the baby after the baby is born. So what you need to do is you need to have a proper change team, and that changed management team is going to tell you what you're going to who's going to be impacted, and what
Mm-hmm.
sort of training would be required, what roles and responsibilities they would need to bring them in. And from there on, I know 3 months to date,
Mm-hmm.
3 months from now, what is going to happen, and 6 months from now, what is going to happen. So all of that needs to be cleanly, neatly planned out. And once
Yeah.
we do that, we start with a systematic and an implementation timeline with different phases. And these phase-wise time approach, what it helps you is to identify your requirements, to complete your design, and at the end of each of these milestones, you know where you are, if you're going right direction or not. So, and
Yeah.
then you have the possibility like show and tell as well. And in these show
Mm-hmm.
and tell sessions, you will be able to see, okay, is your business model coming up properly, or if it is deviating from where we are right now. So this is how we manage the risk and then see, okay, if this is happening properly or not. And this way, what we also take into consideration is that you are bringing to me an SME who is working on the project, and at the same time they're working on the operational side as well. So there is an emergency that need to be looked at from an operation side of view. And if the SME were to go away, so what happens to the project? So we have to consider that as well. And in that sense, so putting together the processes, documenting it, and then calculating the risk if somebody were to go away for a period of time because of their holidays, because of their health, because of their urgency in the operations area. Considering all of these, we need to plan it properly. And this is what we do. We look at all of these steps and then we try and build everything around you. Once we
Yeah.
do this, then the question is, we put all the data, get the data ready to be migrated into any of the ERP systems that you select, and then you start loading the data. The data needs to be validated, and once the data is validated, is where we look at the data. Or the SMEs, the business owners, are actually saying, okay, this data looks good in the new system, and then we release it to the users.
Mm-hmm.
And once we release it to the users, is where we look at what is the kind of adoption model. you know so the baby is born. Now the baby needs to crawl, walk, and run.
Yeah.
So only when it starts to crawl, walk, and run is where you will get the results. It's not like after you go live and you celebrate your party, everyone throws a champagne, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
done. The
Yeah.
challenge is when you actually go live, is where it needs to be nurtured and everyone needs to be trained in using the new system, new ways of working. And you release the system on day one, and from there on, we need to start tracking. Okay, how many orders am I doing? What was I doing 3 months ago in my old
Yeah.
system? Maybe 100 orders. If I'm trying to do 100 orders, am I able to do 100 orders using 10 people, 5 people? You know,
Mm-hmm.
am I able to do that with 2 people now? So how much time am I saving?
Yeah.
So, and then if I'm able to generate a report, what it used to take, 100 hours, is it taking 1 hour right now? So
Mm-hmm.
what are my savings? What are my cost savings in terms of time as well? How quickly am I able to communicate to my client? How quickly am I able to communicate with my supplier as part of the logistics and distribution? I'm able to send it out to the customer out in the road, and then be able to communicate to the client and then raise my invoice.
Yeah.
So all of this happens significantly quite quick turnaround, and we don't have to wait for longer periods in this. So that's the approach where I look at it on day one. How many orders have been
Mm-hmm.
raised? How many have been closed? How many issues have been opened up as a result of proper, lack of functionality, lack of customer response with the customer, lack of communication with the customer. So in all
Mm-hmm.
of these, we put together a number of metrics, and using these metrics is where we say, okay, now you are able to close your first month, and in these first month, maximum number of the number of people who are logging into the system have significantly increased, and they are able to perform their transactions as required, and every one of them have been trained, and they are able to generate your monthly reports as well.
Mm-hmm.
Financials, period closures, financial month-end closures have been completed, and you then look at your quarter. And then in the first quarter, you're able to stabilize your system, and then you're able to say, then I'm able to say, okay, now we can celebrate after the first quarter, and then say, okay, everything looks good. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where we need to have a set of milestones right from the start. The day when you have decided to go for ERP, and then you have selected it, you have started the implementation, you have
Mm-hmm.
completed the implementation, and how you have gone across and then started to utilize, and then the ERP is started to deliver the results for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like how you detail your stage by stage milestones, Rajesh. We all know that implementing ERP is one thing, but what's the real payoff, Rajesh? Once SMBs make it through this phase, what's the most transformative outcome you've seen for SMBs after adopting ERP? Is it the day-to-day operations that get the biggest boost, or do the strategic advantages steal the show?
Um, I mean, see, that's a very good question. In terms of the first thing, what we need to look at is, where is my biggest challenge, and what is my biggest outcome that I'm looking for? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if my biggest challenge is somewhere I'm looking at in terms of the operational side, and I want to sustain my operations. I want to be able to reduce these bottlenecks what I have. If that is what I'm trying to look at it, then that is where my first step is. And if my transformation is goals are something to change the way that I am running my business right now. So let's take an example. I'm trying to manage 2 to 3 different systems. And for example, I was talking to one of the clients quite recently who are in a pharmaceutical business, and they are into generic medicines. And the
Mm-hmm.
way that they are trying to do is they have 4 different entities. And for these 4 different entities, they have 4 different ERP systems. How? See, if you have 4 different ERP systems, so much of duplication, what you are trying to do, and so many efforts, what you are trying to do, and there are so many duplicate roles who are actually trying to be put in. So, indeed, the suggestion that was made is, can we consider to move all of them to one ERP solution? and
Mm-hmm.
where the kind of the analysts are able to talk to the people on the in each of the departments to get this information and then populate into the system, and that actually has transformed in the way how they are working. And tell you what, they were actually struggling with a number of open items from the regulatory and regulators, and they were not able to get to respond to them. And with
Mm-hmm.
this, the way that they have moved from four ERP systems to one actually facilitated in reducing the amount of work what they are trying to do, and it has helped them to progress. And I was talking to them post implementation as well in terms of what is happening right now, and they have saved significant amount of they have had significant amount of savings, and their return on investment is like in 150%. And they were able to talk to their suppliers quite well, their customers quite well, and the employee experience has improved. And they were able to go back to their accountants and then the auditors as well, who have been raising quite a few observations, and they're able to go back to them and then say, okay, this is how we have solved it. And that actually helped them to take a few more strategic decisions. And as part of the strategic decision is where they started to go for an acquisition. How beautiful is that? So you are trying to look at a backward integration or launch a new acquisition, a new product or a service is so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful as part of your growth plans. And the beauty of these ERP solutions, what we have with Microsoft Business Central is it's scalable. It can evolve and it can
That's the most
expand as the
important thing.
way it can scale as well. So that
Yeah.
scalability is what gives you the benefit of expanding as you go.
Hmm. And getting rid of those duplicated efforts and confusion that you mentioned must be priceless, Rajesh.
Absolutely right. I mean, see, tell you what, if you have four different ERP systems which
Here.
are going on at the same time, and I want to go ahead and produce a consolidated view of what it is, so
Mm-hmm.
then I have to have an infrastructure resource security and administrator, and you need to have someone going in and then feeding that particular data. And I have to
Mm-hmm.
have someone who is actually trying to view from a finance manager who's actually reviewing it. And look at for four of these, you actually have so many people. There's so
Yeah.
many duplication of resources, duplication of efforts. And once this happens, all of these four systems from these four different ERP systems, once you try and provide a consolidated view in our consolidation application, so all of that need to be put in once again. So also what happens is, as part of the ERP, which is still a transaction application, you have one more thing called financial planning and analysis, where you do your budgeting and and you do your reporting, month-end closing, as well as with your consolidation. So that becomes quite a challenge. So I want to have a sale of revenue increase by 10% or 20%, then I would like to plan accordingly to that, and then how many number of resources that I would want to have. All of these, once I decide in my FP&A or my corporate performance management or financial
Mm-hmm.
planning application, so that is how it is called. So this FP&A solution, if it is able to give me the right kind of numbers, I'm going to put that back into my operational side and then always benchmark it. Okay, is it 10%? Is it 15%? Okay, am I able to reach it? Am I able to do something about it? So
Yeah.
what are my budgets? How they are talking? How am I responding to the budgets? What I have put together? Am I costing more? So that kind of a situation as well can be easily met if you are able to move to one ERP system, and it actually helps you in managing so many in managing it well in so many ways.
Yeah. And that sounds more organized.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you would have the way to look at what your data sets are, what your data is going to be, and if you want to bring in automation
Yeah.
in
Well,
order for you to, yeah, go on.
yeah, please go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So the way that I was talking to you earlier on about the generally generative AI and all,
Yeah.
what we have these days is, in order for you to reduce your efforts, what we have is business process automation. And as part of the
Mm-hmm.
business process automation as well, any repetitive tasks that you have, you can create a business process around it, and that can be automated. Very simply, it can be automated, and this automation is something that helps you in reducing your time, your duplication efforts, what you're trying to do, and it can be
Mm-hmm.
automated really well. And then you can start to monitor, okay, yeah, okay, is it able to give me the keystrokes what I was doing it? Okay, because it has to generate 10,000 invoices, 10,000 purchase orders, whatever that may be. So it is able to give me a standard view. If it is a standard set of a standard quotation, what I have to send across. So these are all the things. So you can create a template on it, and then you can start sending it out. So it becomes so easy. Your life will become so easy with
Mm-hmm.
that. And this is where automation is another thing which we can provide in terms of how we implement the Microsoft Dynamics Business Central.
Yeah, and in that way, they can also allot that time to some tasks that are more essential to growing or scaling their business, right?
Absolutely right. I mean, developing, I mean, focusing on the core business model, bringing
Mm-hmm.
in industry standard processes. So the way that we look at is we look at the APQC, American
Yeah.
Process Quality Control. Or the business, and there is one more I'm forgetting, but APQC, and there is one more area where we have, which are the standard industry standard processes that
Mm-hmm.
are offered. So these are two particular industry process sets what we benchmark on, and then see is the client, is the organization following these kind of processes or not. And if there is scope for improvement, how can we go ahead and do that? So
Yeah.
this is all done incrementally without disrupting what they are trying to do. And
Mm-hmm.
we work around the client's availability, clients, the resourcing availability, and what the budgets, what they have. So at the end of the day, what we see is a success where the client implements it, and then utilizes the system properly, and then gets a returns out of it.
Well, thank you so much, Rajesh, for making us understand the importance of ERP in helping SMB scale from streamlining operations to improving decision making with AI. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miles.
So, guys, whether you're looking to expand, streamline your operations, enable strategic growth, or unlock future possibilities for your business, now we know that ERP systems will simplify this for you. I hope you've learned a lot today through Rajesh. If you want to learn more, check them out at ybrandsolutions.com. Thank you for sticking with us through another Power Pack episode. This has been your host, Miles. Stay focused and inspired with X-Rays.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you so much, Rajesh. How do you feel about the interview?